Hello, second grade. How are you today? Yes, we are plotting some measurement lengths again today. I'm so excited. Now, we've done a lot of work together the last 2 days. Today, you kind of are on your own, and you're going to have some practice as well. So, let's go ahead and look at our learning target, and then I'll explain our task. I can use information to create a line plot. Now notice, I did not say complete. You are creating. Yesterday, you had a line, you had the smallest number, you had the biggest number, and you had all the numbers in between. What do you notice here? Oh, look at that. There are no numbers, are there? No. There are no numbers. There are just boxes, but we do have some information, okay? So, to give you that little reminder, a line plot is a way to organize a group of measurements. This line plot looks very similar to a number line, but there are a few differences. To me, it reminds me a lot of a graph that we used earlier in the year when we were collecting information about our classmates and about different objects and things around our room or around our world, okay? And we've continued to see graphs throughout the school year. But these line plots remind me a lot of that as well. Kind of a combination of our number lines and our graphs, because it is a way to organize our information, okay? So you have a job today. Now you have this chart and this empty line plot in your notebook again. I told you I don't use this very often, but for this information, I am. It's that shiny book, numbers on it, okay? Now I will include these pages for your teachers to send to you as well, so if you don't have your workbook, you can pull it up. But if you open up to page 206, you will see, I'm not worried about any of this down here, my friends, okay? I just want you to be looking at the top, okay? So we're going to use this chart right here, this empty plot or line right down here. Now, one more thing before we get to say anything more. We're going to continue to find that quiet spot in our home, or we're going to continue to give that quiet and private think time in our classroom so that we all, ourselves and our classmates, the people around us, are able to reason and think about the problem at hand and take time to think so that they can figure it out on their own. Everybody needs that time to think, and it can't be loud when we're doing that. So we want to give everybody that private think time or private reasoning time. We're spending a lot of time this week making connections, thinking about how our information or our data can be represented on our line plot. Okay, we want to know where that is plotted on our line. We want to see where that data is on our table and make sure that those two pieces match. Okay, so we don't want to forget about making those connections and know exactly where everything goes so that we get our information top notch, just right. Okay, so let's take a peek at our work. It says Rachel wants to make a line plot to show the lengths of 6 rooms. Okay, the length of 6 rooms in her house. We're going to be writing the numbers that Rachel needs to put on that line plot, but then we're also going to continue to look and not just put the numbers in here, but you all are going to plot the numbers on this line plot, okay? Now you can see this same paper in your workbook, but you can see here, room A is how long? 8 meters, 8 centimeters, 8 inches, meters. Says it right there, doesn't it? How long is room B? 6 meters. What about room C? 10 meters. How about room D? 9 meters. How about room E? 11. Okay. 11 what? 11 meters. And what about room F? 10 meters. Okay, so what do we need to ask ourselves first? Let's go back and think, what do we know about a line plot? Our lines are already evenly spaced for the most part. They're much more evenly spaced on your paper. Ms. Baker might have not gotten it quite perfect when I was drawing it. Okay, they're evenly spaced. What else do we need to know? The smallest measurement. What else we need to know? Our biggest measurement. So I want you guys to take just a moment, and I want us to do that step first. And you give me a thumb in front of your tummy when you think you know that you are ready. What number are you putting right there? Why are you putting that number at the beginning? Because it's the smallest number. So are you skipping 7, or what are you going to put in this next spot? You're almost filled up. What number's going to come last? Why not 12 or 13? Because that one's the biggest number, okay? Why have you written 6 and 11? What are you going to put in between those two? Well, how do we know that? Very good. Did we skip any numbers over here? Why not? I don't see 7 up there, so we're gonna put, why are we still putting 7 if there's not a number of 7 up here? Okay. Eyes on me, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. What number did we start with, my loves? Why 6? It's the smallest number. What number did we end with? Why 11? Why not 12 or 13 or 14? 11 is the longest or the biggest number. Very good. What else am I going to put on here? 7, 8, 9, 10. But there's not a 7 anywhere on here. Why am I putting a 7 there? I can't skip any numbers when I'm doing my line plot, can I? All right, friends, I'm going to give you just a few moments to take this information and plot it on here. Now, if you get done early, don't forget to give it a title, and we want to label that part on the bottom, okay? Take a few moments to plot that. How many are you going to have above the 6? Okay. How many are you going to have above the 8? Why do you have 2 above the 10? And 1 above the 11. Pause me if you're not done. I want you to turn to the person sitting next to you, or turn to someone at your home. And I want you to prove to them how you know why show them your line plot and tell them how you know that your line plot is correct. Take a moment. Now, if you're in the room, I want my partner with the shortest hair to put their hand on their head. You're going to talk first, okay? So my person that does not have their hand on their head, I want you just to listen for a second. You're going to look at their line plot. You're going to listen to what they have to say, but you're not going to say a word. When they are done, we will switch it, and you'll have a chance to share. Then you can compare them and see if they're the same or if they're different, okay? All right, go ahead, long-haired people. You may go ahead and begin. I like that you're listening to your partner. Okay, thumb up in front of your tummy when you're done sharing. All right, and switch. Long-haired people, you're listening this time. You notice that both of yours? Well, how do we know that they're both correct? And where is that on the data on the table? Are yours similar or are they different? Why? Using the same data table, absolutely. All right, guys, coming together on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Ooh, how many do I have above my 6? There is only 1. Check. All right, how about my 7? Why don't I have any 7s? There are no 7s on this information. What about my 8? Just 1. What about my 9? Oh, I'm going to check off my 8. Sometimes checking them off is also another way I can be precise so I don't forget, right? So just 1 of my 9. 2 of my 10s. Who else had 2? Very good. And what about my 11? Which measurement did I have the most of? How does this line plot help me see that I have the most that are 10, most rooms that are 10 meters? It's taller than the others, isn't it? That gives us a really great visual, doesn't it? Just like that graph, like a bar graph especially. It's taller than the others. What label would I give down here? Yes, length. And I'm going to say meters because it's not centimeters, it's not inches. And what am I going to put up here? What could be my title? What am I measuring? Room measurements. Nothing fancy, right? My title isn't a whole sentence. It's just, what am I measuring? Remember, because a line plot is a way to organize groups of measurements. Okay, so this is room measurements. Before we had crayon measurements. We've had measurements of spaghetti. We've had measurements of sea lions. We've had measurements of all sorts of things, but they're all measurements, right? This is no different. And when we look at this data, we can see that there's 2 rooms that are 10 meters long, which is more than the others because it's taller than the rest. How many rooms did they measure? Just using our line plot, how many rooms did she measure? How do you know she measured 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 X's, 6 rooms. Each of those X's equals a room, represents a room, okay? There's that connection, right? The number here, the room, is going to go over here, okay? All right, let's take a look at the next one. And then you guys are going to have a chance to do your own. You can see that I even made this a little bit trickier than the last one. We're going to use the data table to create a line plot. Now, this information is length of ribbon scraps. This is not in your workbook. I will include this with your teacher, okay? It is ribbon scraps. I just really liked it because it was a tally chart, okay? So I'm going to walk you through it so you can see it, but you should be able to see it in your room as well. In fact, let me see it with your work as well, okay? Let's take a peek at this little chart, all right? What do you see? We're measuring ribbon scraps, the length of ribbon scraps, and we're measuring them in what? Centimeters, yes. And what do you notice about these ribbon scraps? So here's the length here, and here's the number here. Now, this is how many were that long. So when we're thinking about this line plot, our numbers, 14 through the biggest number, are still going to go along the bottom, okay? And we're going to use our tallies to let us know how many we need to include, okay? So how many were 14 centimeters long? Just one. You can look straight across. How many were 18 centimeters long? 8, right? 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember when we do tallies, each of those ones with the groups with the line across, that's a group of 5. How about 22? Just 5, right? Only 5 of them were 22 inches long, or 22 centimeters long, not inches. All right, how about 20? 7, so we have 5, and 2 more is 7. And how about 16? There were 3 that were 16 centimeters long. Okay, so we are going to pop this back up here. And what are we going to include on our line plot? Okay, so the part on the bottom is going to be the length in centimeters, okay? I'm going to put this back and I'm going to write length. And I'm going to put in parentheses cm for our centimeters, okay? And we're the ribbon scrap measurements. There's that title, so we know we're measuring ribbon scraps. What's our smallest number going to be? Thumb in front of your tummy. 14. What's our biggest number going to be? 22 is our biggest one, right? So then we have to include all of our numbers in between. That's a lot, isn't it? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. That's 9 numbers all together, okay? So you're going to want to make sure that you include all of those spots. You may go ahead and begin. Show me, use your pencil, take your time. You're going to make those lines for yourself, okay? Remember what I told you, my little trick? Putting 1 in between and thinking about that middle number, okay? And then seeing how many I need in between so that I have enough, okay? Go ahead and begin. What is that middle number that's going to help you? Okay, so if we have 18 in the middle, then how many do we need in between 18 and 14? 15, 16, 17, so we need 3 lines in between. And then I need 3, 18, 19, 20, 21, and then we have our 22 already on there. Friends, who's got their numbers plotted already? Pause me if you don't. Okay, so if we have this one in between, we have 15, 16, 17. It's not perfect, that's okay, but you want to be as precise as you can. Okay, we're going to put that one in right there, just smack dab in the middle, and then we can do 2 on the side. 19, 20, 21, and we have our 22. And then we can use our data, right? So we have our 14. We're only going to put 1 there. How am I going to do for 15? I keep trying to trick you guys, don't I? All right, for your exit ticket, I'm not going to keep you any longer. For your exit ticket, I want you to finish this line plot, and you'll have a chance to do one on your own, okay? You're going to wrap this one up and finish recording all of this information on here, okay, with our ribbon scrap measurements. I want you to send me a picture of it or send your teacher a picture of it so we can see how you're plotting those spots and that piece of that data onto your line plot. You did a fantastic job this week taking that information or this data and plugging it into an organized way so we can read it in a snap. We'll be able to easily see which length of ribbon scrap has the most, right? Which one has the least, which one doesn't have any, okay? Once we can see this data on this line plot. Happy plotting. Remember, be precise, be careful, be thoughtful, and always make sure that you're connecting the information here to the information here. See where those go together. See you soon, second grade.